One thing really quick, just before I even touch on Poltergeist. When a theater has 20 minutes of trailers before the actual film starts, that really annoys me. That's what the new theater I went to does, apparently. So that's delightful. Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my new apartment. This is the new setting for the videos for the foreseeable future, at least for the next year. So, get used to it. I will probably add posters back here eventually, and try to get rid of this echo type of thing. So, but let's get into Poltergeist though. Poltergeist is a remake of the original horror film, which came out about 20 or 30 years ago. I'm not exactly sure. I never saw the original. So going into this, I had no real expectations. I had no things that I had to live up to or equalize against or anything of that nature. So I had nothing to really compare it to, which was nice for me because I got to go into the movie knowing nothing really about it. And let's see how it did. The film stars Sam Rockwell, Rosemary DeWitt, Saxon Sherbino, Cal Catlett, and Kennedy Clements in this film. They play this family who has moved into this new house, and this is where they're going to live. The dad's just recently lost his job, so the family's very tight on money, and very quickly in this movie, a lot of supernaturally things start to happen throughout the house. And I thought that the film did actually a really good job at kind of the setup of this whole thing. Just little objects would move, or the daughter would hear a voice in the closet, and the younger brother would just be kind of confused, like, what are you doing? Are you talking to yourself, or what are you doing? Thankfully, though, the film does actually get into the horror aspect of itself very quickly. About half an hour into the film, this really good horror, like supernaturally scene starts to happen, and I definitely thought everyone was dead by the end of it, just by the events that take place in this scene. And it's just a really cool event, and I had a fantastic time watching that particular scene. It does kind of get to slow down a little bit once they start kind of investigating what's happening and going to the supernatural people. It slows down just a little bit, but it keeps bringing back all these like visions that these people start to have. Like the dad eventually sees like globs of black goo start to pour out of his eyes, and he's like spitting up worms and stuff. And this paranormal guy sees like a drill like inching closer and closer to his face, and it's just a really cool use of visions which are ultimately not real. And it's kind of a cool way to do the film. It kind of shows the power of the supernatural force. One thing in that scene that I really did enjoy is just kind of the dynamic that it had for this supernatural force, because you have the older sister and the younger brother who are just terrified of this thing, and they don't know what to do, and they're getting attacked by it. And then you have this young girl who's just mesmerized by it. She just sees like almost the beauty in it. She's just mystified by the whole thing, in terms of like, because it's just like taking the light source out of light bulbs and just bring them towards the closet. And it's kind of a cool contrast that the movie really does, and it's something which I found to be really kind of interesting. There are some cheesy lines in this film, as you would expect. It is a horror movie, so it does kind of happen. But I didn't really notice it too much. It's kind of more in the beginning part where there wasn't a lot happening, and it was just kind of easier to pick out. But for the most part, the dialogue is pretty solid. I did not really mind it that badly. The film does a really good job, though, of giving a sense of tension when we do get into those horror supernatural scenes where you have just objects moving and just you don't really know what's going to happen. I was getting really tensed up, and I was getting nervous, and it was just a cool thing that horror movies don't typically do these days, and they're not able to capture that type of emotional feel. So I did actually kind of enjoy this movie. Surprisingly, I went into it not really thinking it was going to be that good, but I actually walked out kind of enjoying it, surprisingly. One thing I was kind of surprised at the lack of was the lack of the little clown doll, because that's what a lot of posters have been based on. That's what a lot of advertisements have been based on, is this like possessed clown doll. And it's in the movie for maybe 5 minutes, if that. And so it just kind of the false advertising, I want to say, is just kind of unfortunate. There are some comedic moments in this film, though. There are parts where I did end up laughing, just kind of here or there. But it's kind of nice to see some humor injected into this film. I was also kind of surprised, this is like kind of a spoiler I guess, but I was kind of surprised at the lack of deaths that occurred in this film. because there's not really a lot that happens in terms of the dead and dying and stuff, which I mean, it's a horror movie, so I expected a lot more of that to happen. And so yeah, that was just something which kind of bugged me, and that I was kind of seeing when I was watching the film. It's just like, oh, no one's really died yet. It's like an hour in. It's kind of weird. So that's just something which kind of stuck out to me. The ending, though, is just fantastic, I thought, at least, because it seems like it's done and it's wrapped up and everything's all good, and then it just explodes into more stuff, and I really liked that, because it was a false ending and it was done in a really neat way, I thought. It kind of reminded me of the remake of Evil Dead in a sense, because you think that everything's kind of done and over with, and then just like the blood rain starts falling and you get more evil that happens. Kind of the same thing with this, in a sense, and so I did kind of enjoy that. Kennedy Clements plays this little girl, and she does a really, really nice job playing like the kind of, I don't want to say creepy character, but just her very stoic personality when she's like kind of interacting with these spirits, and when she's talking about them, she sees them as friends and just people who are trying to find the light, per se. And it's just kind of a neat way to play the character, so I thought Clements did a really nice job with that. There's also really nice use of special effects. Some of it, obviously, yes, it kind of looks cheesy, it looks kind of out of something like Dante's Inferno or something like that, because you do see a few scenes like inside this like purgatory-esque realm, which look actually kind of cool. There's also some scenes at the end, there's some scenes towards the beginning, and it all looks kind of really well done, I thought, and it didn't really stick out to me as bad to any degree. So obviously, besides a few minor quips, I actually ended up enjoying Poltergeist a lot more than I was expecting to. It was a really well done horror movie, I thought, and I mean, some of the acting, not the best, but I mean, I can forgive that because it was done well enough in a way that I found new. I mean, again, haven't seen the original, so it was like a new experience for me. I don't know how it competes with the original. It could be a shit show compared to that. I don't know. But I personally did really enjoy it, and so I definitely recommend it. If you like horror movies, or if you've seen the original, I guess go check it out, and hopefully you like it as much as I did. But those are my thoughts on Poltergeist, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments down below. If you have seen it, did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Once again, if you so choose, I appreciate it immensely. And as always, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on watching.